I'm out like that.
Roller coaster, let it stop like that. And it's not that.
Flexing. Follow when they get like why you keep asking same question?
Grizzly going crazy, nigga.
Roller coaster motor at the stoplight. Catch me at the finish line flexing. Following the kid like a spotlight. Why you keep asking same questions? Roller coaster motor at the stoplight. Catch me at the finish line flexing. Following the kid like a spotlight. Why you keep asking same questions? I remember going to school, never had the latest shoes. You was raised to make it cool, I was raised to make a move. We was playing with different bags, so I kept getting shitted on. It was motivation, telling myself stay patient. Package touchdown, gotta relocate it. If that body got took down, guess it was donated. Plug ain't from around town, but we both native. Yeah, sliding with my body, I got a Joe waiting. Can't let these hoes spend the night, ain't got no home training. Heard your damn mixtape, gave it a low rating. Yeah, streets reply, I look right in a Mercedes. Creep at night, the city lights going brave. She popping it like that is meant for, can't be no road and extendo. Bitch, I put me in the friend zone till she see me in the end zone. Hoes calling from other zip codes, trapping hard, I need a flip on this, the new pack, the last one been gone. Coastal motor at the stoplight, catch me at the finish line flexing. Following the kid like a spotlight. Why you keep asking same questions? Roller coaster motor at the stoplight. Catch me at the finish line flexing. Following the kid like a spotlight. Why you keep asking same questions? Stepping out cool, rock and roll my watch and shoes. They scream wave, ain't bring a pool. Mainstream thing to scream my moves. Jack hit me up like gotta leave round 2. Know what's going on, man, you need it come through. I'm the neighborhood superintendent. Dogs in the den, got the cushion in the kitchen. Look here, baby, I'm on real time. Needle in a haystack, but still shine. Wave guard, grill gold like a face guard. I did a bid and tell them wait for it. Grill gold like a face guard. I did a bid and tell them wait for it.
Roller coaster motor at the stoplight. Catch me at the finish line flexing. Following the kid like a spotlight. Why you keep asking same questions? Roller coaster motor at the
Peace to the family. Peace to the family. Hope everybody doing alright. Man, we got a new week. We got a new week, you know what I'm saying? New week, new money, you know what I'm saying? New every goddamn thing. So yeah, just me going over the information, you know what I'm saying? Going over the history of our people. There's a lot of conversations that's not being had. You know what I'm saying? Everybody want to talk about peer review. Everybody want to talk about, well, he got an honorary degree. Everybody want to talk about, well, he didn't graduate college, so his book don't mean nothing, or his reality didn't mean nothing, or his ideas didn't mean nothing. We're starting to hear a whole bunch of that. You know what I'm saying? I like getting to the bottom of the stereotypes. I like getting to the bottom. Get to a point to where we tearing down our people, we tearing down our ancestors. We gotta push back on that tremendously. You know what I'm saying? Anytime we see, you know what I'm saying, people tearing down the ancestors, we gotta push back on that tremendously. You feel? So understanding the time frame and everything, understanding what was actually going on, you know what I'm saying? We gotta actually keep it real and let it be known that the times we living in today ain't got shit on 60 years ago, 80 years ago, 100 years ago. You is a new booty. You is a new booty. You don't know shit about Black history. You don't know shit about your people and the triumph that your people endured and created and became. You don't know nothing about nothing. You know what I'm saying? You here 2025 with a little bit of Wi-Fi. You here in 2025 with a little bit of Wi-Fi and a little bit of a laptop and a camera, and you think you better than the ancestors from 60, 80, 100 years ago. Let me just let you know, when you walk outside, you know what I'm saying, you can go to work in peace. You know what I'm saying? When you walk outside, you can go to the mall. You know what I'm saying? You're not cursed. You ain't got shackles on you. You don't, if you make one wrong move, you ain't gonna have an angry mob outside your house. We not living in the same times. So disrespecting the elders for however you feel, we just gotta understand the context. You couldn't put your motherfucking feet in the goddamn elder's shoe. You couldn't put your motherfucking feet in the goddamn elder's shoe. You know what I'm saying? So niggas, what I come to realize is when you got somebody that's disrespecting the elders, disrespecting the ancestors all out their mouth, you really just gotta recognize that they want to date white people. They want to date white people, and they actually don't like themselves. So when they take a shower and when they putting on new clothes, they wishing they had a white body. You know what I'm saying? They wishing they had a white body. They want to date white women in peace. That's where all of this shit come from. You know what I'm saying? Oh, he ain't have a real degree, or he ain't have a degree at all. That's where all of this shit come from. You know what I'm saying? So today, gonna be getting to the information. Y'all know how we do it over here. We learn every day. Hopefully, I could put some points to the board and like, share, and subscribe this video. We about to get into it. All right. All right, check me out. Check me out. Check me out. Check me out. How racism blocked Black Americans from getting degrees. Imagine a time. Imagine a time not that long ago in American history where learning to read could get you killed. Imagine a time not that long ago in American history where learning to read could get you killed. Imagine a law that didn't target theft or violence. Imagine a law that didn't target theft or violence. Let me fix my setup. But knowledge itself. Imagine a law that didn't target threat or violence, but knowledge itself. For most of this nation's history, the simple act of a Black man learning to read or write was a revolutionary act. In many states, it was explicitly illegal, a crime punishable by fines, brutal whippings, or worse. This wasn't an accident. This wasn't some unfortunate byproduct of the system. It was a deliberate, calculated strategy at the very heart of American oppression. It was the first and maybe the most foundational wall built to block Black Americans from academic achievement, from social mobility, and from the power that comes with a degree. This is the story of that wall and the generations of people who have been fighting to tear it down brick by painful brick. We'll uncover a centuries-long war against Black education, a hidden history of laws and social codes designed with a single purpose: to systematically block Black Americans from getting degrees and in doing so, locked them out of the promise of America. This journey would take us from the secret pit schools of enslaved people to the halls of the Supreme Court, revealing how one of the most foundational human rights, the right to learn, was denied, and how that denial continues to shape our world today. All right, let's go. The foundation of denial, slavery, and anti-literacy laws. To understand the depth of educational inequality in America, you have to start at this brutal source, chattel slavery. The system of slavery wasn't just about controlling a person's labor, it was about controlling their mind. And the most effective tool for that was forced ignorance. Slaveholders understood a terrifying simple truth. Literacy is a pathway to freedom. A literate person could read the work of an abolitionist passionately arguing for their emancipation. They could read newspapers and learn about successful slave rebellions in places like Haiti. And most practically, a person a person could write a person who could write could forge the travel passes required to escape bondage and journey to a free state. As Frederick Douglass, who taught himself to read in secret, famously said, knowledge is the pathway from slavery to freedom. This fear of knowledge wasn't just some quiet anxiety. It was written into law, starting with South Carolina's Negro Act in 1740, which was passed in the fearful aftermath of the Stonewall Rebellion. Southern states began systematically outlawing black literacy. That law made it a crime to teach an enslaved person to read and write, punishable by a hefty fine and 6 months in prison. Over the next century, states like Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, and Virginia all followed suit, creating their own versions of what we now call anti-literacy laws. These laws were chillingly specific. In 1819, Virginia law declared any school for teaching black people, enslaved or free, an unlawful assembly, and authorized police to break up these gatherings and whip participants with up to 20 lashes. In 1829, Georgia law punished anyone, white or black, for teaching a person of color to read with fines and whippings. In 1847, Missouri made it illegal to even assemble a group of black people for education in 1847. While other slave-holding empires existed, the United States holds a grim distinction of being one of the only countries known to have systematically codified laws of this nature. The reasoning was stated with terrifying clarity by, by slave owners and politicians. One North Carolina statute plainly said that teaching slaves to read and write tends to excite dissatisfaction in their minds and to produce insurrection and rebellion. They believed education would not only make enslaved people desire freedom, but that it would make them insolent and miserable with their condition. They actually argued that educating a black person was a disservice because it will open their eyes to the true horror of their subjugation. But this system of legally mandated ignorance could never fully extinguish the human thirst for knowledge. The act of learning became a profound form of resistance. Enslaved people developed secret methods to educate themselves and their children, fully aware of the life-threatening risk. They created pit schools where lessons were held in clearings in the woods or in deep pits dug into the earth, far from the master's eyes. Jenny Proctor, a former enslaved woman from Alabama, remembered how they would hide a Webster spelling book gathering late at night to study. None of us was allowed to see a book or try to learn, she said. They say we get smarter than they was if we learn anything, but we slips around and we hides it to away in the night. They learned in hushed tones in the slave quarters. They traded what they could, like marbles or fruit, to white children for lessons. Some even found sympathetic white people like Sophia Auld, the wife of Frederick Douglass's enslaver, who initially taught him his letters before her husband furiously stopped her, declaring that education would do him no good, but a great deal of harm. Archaeologists have even found writing slates and pencils hidden in the living quarters of enslaved people on farmer plantations, like George Washington's Mount Vernon, a testament to their secret pursuit of literacy. The danger was constant. Getting caught meant a certain and brutal punishment. Yet the desire for knowledge was so strong that by the time of the Civil War, it estimated that somewhere between 5 to 10% of the enslaved population had achieved some level of literacy against all odds. This wasn't just about reading the Bible, it was about a revolutionary act. It was about the first fight in a long war for educational access, a struggle that proved that while you can change a person's body, it's far harder to change their mind. A glimmer of hope, reconstruction, and the thirst of knowledge. The end of the Civil War and the start of the Reconstruction era unleashed a tidal wave of hope. For 4 million newly emancipated African Americans, freedom wasn't some abstract concept, it was tangible. One of its most powerful expressions was the pursuit of education. The very act that had been a crime was now a right, and Black communities seized it with a fervor that astonished observers. Historian James D. Anderson argues that freed slaves were the first people in the South to campaign for universal, state supported public education for everyone. They didn't just want it for their own betterment, but for the uplift of their entire race and for full participation in American democracy. They knew that education was the cornerstone of freedom. One missionary teacher in Georgia said she had to cap her school at 200 students only to have a father plead with her. Don't let them come if you please. Do let them come if you please, ma'am. And if you can't teach them even a little, just let them sit and hear what the rest learn. They'll be sure to catch it. Damn, our people were so smart. Missionary teacher said, teach the white students. Just sit the Black students in the back. They gonna catch on. This is wild. This explosive demand for learning was met by a historic, if flawed, effort from the federal government. In 1865, Congress established the Bureau of Refugees, Freedmen, and Abandoned Lands, better known as the Freedmen's Bureau, headed by Major General Oliver Howard. The Bureau's greatest and most lasting success was in education. The Bureau, often partnering with Northern missionary groups like the American Missionary Association, embarked on a massive school building campaign. Over its short life, the Bureau spent over $5 million, a huge sum at the time, to establish schools. It helped build more than 1,000 schools across the South, provided supplies, and transported teachers, many of them idealistic young white women from the North, to staff them. By the end of 1865 alone, more than 90,000 former enslaved men, women, and children were enrolled as students. A certain part of the mission was to create a new generation of Black leaders and educators. This led to the founding of some of America's most prestigious institutions of higher learning, historically Black colleges and universities, or HBCUs. The Freedmen's Bureau helped establish and fund the very first of them. Institutions like Fisk University, Hampton University, and Howard University were all founded during this period, often with direct aid from the Bureau. Howard University, created by an act of Congress in 1867, was even named after the Bureau's commissioner, Oliver O. Howard, who later served as its president. These HBCUs were revolutionary. For the next century, they would be the primary and often only institutions providing higher education to Black Americans, becoming a bedrock of the Black middle and professional classes. The progress was staggering. In just a few years, an entire education system was being built from scratch. They established day schools for children, night schools for working adults, and Sunday schools, all to spread literacy and opportunity as wide as possible. However, this period of progress was fragile. The Freedmen's Bureau was underfunded and faced immense political opposition. President Andrew Johnson, who was hostile to Reconstruction, vetoed the renewal of the Bureau's charter in 1866, though Congress managed to override him. And white Southerners clinging to the old social order viewed these new schools with deep suspicion and hostility. Despite the challenges, the Reconstruction era represents a monumental chapter in the story of Black education. It was a brief, brilliant window where the formerly enslaved and their allies began to build the foundations of educational equality. But as the political will for Reconstruction faded, and as the white supremacy began to violently reassert itself, this glimmer of hope was about to be extinguished by a new, more insidious legal wall. The wall goes up, Jim Crow, and separate but equal. The hopeful light of Reconstruction was tragically short-lived. By 1877, federal troops had withdrawn from the South, and the political will to protect the rights of Black citizens had evaporated. This retreat created a power vacuum, one that was quickly filled by the forces of white supremacy, ushering in a new era of racial oppression known as Jim Crow. This wasn't a return to slavery, but a new system of subjugation designed to disenfranchise Black Americans in every part of public life. And just like before, education was a primary target. The progress made during Reconstruction was systematically dismantled by banning education outright, but by twisting the laws, not by banning education outright, but by twisting the laws to create a system of profound inequality. The legal death blow came in 1896 with the landmark Supreme Court case, Plessy versus Ferguson. The case wasn't even about schools. It was about Homer Plessy, a man of mixed race who was arrested for sitting in a whites-only railroad car in Louisiana. But the court's ruling will ripple through American society for the next 60 years. In its infamous decision, the Supreme Court upheld the legality of state-sponsored segregation, establishing a devastating new doctrine, separate but equal. The court argued that as long as the separate facilities provided to each race were equal, segregation didn't violate the 14th Amendment. It was a legal fiction, a perverse interpretation of equality that gave constitutional permission to racial segregation in everything from train cars to drinking fountains to courtrooms and most devastatingly, public schools. Justice John Marshall Harlan was the lone dissenter. In words that will echo through history, he warned the decision would prove to be quite as pernicious as the decision made by the tribunal in the Dred Scott case. He correctly predicted that the ruling would stimulate aggression and relegate Black citizens to a condition of legal inferiority. The impact on education was immediate and catastrophic. Plessy versus Ferguson legitimized the Jim Crow laws sweeping across the South, which now mandated segregated schools. The promise of equal was a lie from the start. States now had a constitutional shield to deliberately underfund and neglect the education of black children. In 1899 case of Cumming versus Board of Education of Richmond County starkly illustrated the lie. The school board in Richmond County, Georgia, closed the only public high school for black students in the state, citing financial constraints. At the same time, it continued to operate two high schools for white children. When black parents sued, the Supreme Court cited Plessy ruled against them. It argued that the parents had to prove the policy was motivated by specific racial hostility and impossible standard. The message was clear. The word equal and separate but equal was effectively meaningless. With the backing of the nation's highest court, the Jim Crow South embarked on a multi-generational project of educational sabotage. The wall turned down during Reconstruction was being rebuilt taller and stronger than before, this time with the false promise of equality painted on its sides. It was a promise that was never meant to be kept. The lie in practice, the brutal reality of segregated schools. The phrase separate but equal was a cruel joke. Across the Jim Crow South, the separation was absolute, but the equality was non-existent. The system was engineered to provide just enough education to create a minimally skilled labor force, but not enough to empower black children to compete with whites or challenge the racial hierarchy. The schoolhouse became a powerful institute of oppression. The most glaring disparity was in funding. In the early 20th century, Southern states spent, on average, less than half as much on black students as they did on white students. In some states, the gap was a chasm. In 1930s, Mississippi, for every dollar spent on a white child's education, only 14 cents went to a black child. This financial starvation showed up in every part of the schools themselves. White schools were often modern brick buildings with libraries, science labs, and auditoriums. Black schools were frequently just dilapidated wooden shacks, often without electricity, indoor plumbing, or proper heating. They were overcrowded with multiple grades crammed into a single room with a single teacher. The resources inside were just as unequal. While white students got new textbooks, black schools often received their used, tattered hand-me-downs if they got any at all. It wasn't uncommon for an entire class to share just a handful of books. Basic supplies like paper and pencils were luxuries. In 1951, student strike at Robert Russell Moulton High School in Prince Edward County, Virginia, an event that helped spark the Brown versus Board case, was a protest against these very conditions. The school, built for 180 students, was packed with over 450. It had no gym, no cafeteria, and leaky roofs that required buckets to catch the rain. The school itself was another tool of control. The calendar for black schools was often shortened to align with the agriculture season. Black children were expected to be in the fields planting and harvesting, so their school year might only last 5 to 6 months, while white schools were open for 9. This institutionalized truancy ensured black students fell further behind every year. And then there were the teachers. Black teachers in the Jim Crow South were heroes. They were pillars of their communities, fighting an impossible battle with almost no resources, all while being paid a fraction of their white colleagues' salaries. Inside those crumbling walls, they instilled pride, resilience, and hope in their students. They weren't just educators, they were mentors and guardians of a culture under siege. The psychological toll of this system was immense. very first day of school, black children were given a powerful lesson of racial hierarchy. They saw the new buses taking white children to their well-funded schools pass them by as they walked for miles to a one-room shack. They used the rage, discarded textbooks that taught them their history didn't. They were taught in buildings that declared by their very state of despair that their education and their lives were of lesser value. This was separate but equal in practice, a comprehensive state-sponsored system of educational apartheid designed to crush ambition and limit horizons. But within this oppressive system, the seeds of its own destruction were being sown. The very inequality it promoted will become the key to dismantling it. The legal onslaught, the road to Brown versus Board. The fight against Jim Crow's educational apartheid wasn't just waged in protest, it was a slow, meticulous, and brilliant legal war. The chief architect of this war was a man named Charles Hamilton Houston, the dean of Howard University Law School and the first special counsel for the NAACP. He's often called the man who killed Jim Crow. Houston was a visionary. He knew that a direct assault on Plessy versus Ferguson would fail in the hostile courts of the 1930s. So he devised the strategy of indirect attack. He wouldn't argue that segregation was illegal, but that the equal part of the doctrine was a lie that states were legally required to fix. His plan was to make segregation so expensive for states to truly equalize that they'd have no choice but to integrate. He started at the top, graduate and professional schools. This was strategic. First, the inequalities were most glaring here. Many southern states had no law or medical schools for black students at all, making the lack of equal facilities undeniable. Second, judges would be less threatened by a few adults integrating a university than by the mass integration of young children. With his star student, Thurgood Marshall, at his side, Houston traveled the rural South, meticulously documenting the appalling conditions of black schools with a camera. This evidence became the foundation of their legal challenges. The strategy worked. In Missouri ex rel Gaines versus Canada, 1938, the Supreme Court ruled that Missouri had to either build a law school for a black applicant, Lloyd Gaines, or admit him to the state's all-white one. It was the first major crack in the wall. Two more cases in 1950 blew the cracks wide open. In Sweet versus Painter, the court ordered the University of Texas Law School to admit Heman Sweet, rejecting the state's hastily created and obviously inferior separate law school. The court noted that a truly equal education involved intangible factors like reputation and networking, things a segregated school could never offer. In McLaurin versus Oklahoma State Regents, the court ruled that a university couldn't segregate a black student within the institution where George McLaurin had been forced to sit in a hallway outside the classroom. These cases dismantled the logic of separate but equal at the graduate level. Houston and Thurgood Marshall had proven that separation could never truly be equal. Now the NAACP was ready for the final assault, segregation in public schools. They bundled 5 separate lawsuits from Kansas, South Carolina, Virginia, Delaware, and DC into a single momentous case. Oliver Brown versus Board of Education, Topeka, Kansas. Thurgood Marshall, now the NAACP's lead attorney, stood before the Supreme Court. He presented not just legal precedents, but also sociological evidence, including the famous Dawes studies by psychologists Kenneth and Mamie Clark. Their research showed the profound psychological damage segregation inflicted on black children. fostering a sense of inferiority that could last a lifetime. On May 17th, 1954, Chief Justice Earl Warren read the unanimous decision. We conclude that in the field of public education, the doctrine of separate but equal has no place. Separate educational facilities are inherently unequal. It was a legal earthquake. Plessy versus Ferguson was overturned. The constitutional foundation for Jim Crow segregation in schools was shattered. But winning in a courtroom and winning in the schoolhouses of the South would prove to be two very different things. The backlash would be swift and brutal. The backlash. The backlash. Massive resistance to integration. The Supreme Court's decision in Brown versus Board was a landmark victory, but it didn't magically desegregate schools. A year later, in a decision called Brown Second, the court punted on enforcement, ordering states to desegregate not immediately, but with all deliberate speed. That vague phrase was a green light for segregationists to delay, obstruct, and fight back. The South responded not with compliance, but with a coordinated campaign of defiance known as massive resistance. Led by powerful politicians like Senator Harry Byrd of Virginia, the movement used every tool available to stop integration. Across the South, over 100 congressmen signed the Southern Manifesto denouncing the Brown decision. State legislators passed new laws to maintain segregation, including pupil placement acts that created complex hurdles to stop Black students from transferring to white schools. The most extreme tactic was simply closing public schools. In 1958, when federal courts ordered integration in several Virginia cities, the governor ordered the schools shut down, locking nearly 13,000 students out of an education. The message was clear. They would rather have no public school at all than integrated ones. The most infamous example was in Prince Edward County, Virginia, the same county whose student strike had helped launch the Brown case. In 1959, faced with an integration order, the county board of supervisors simply defunded the entire public school system. Every public school in the county was closed. They stayed shuttered for 5 years. During that time, the county used state-funded tuition grants to help establish new private all-white segregation academies, while over 1,700 Black children in the county were left with no formal education at all. This is 1950, gang. White students continued their studies in privately funded, publicly subsidized schools. It wasn't until a 1964 Supreme Court decision, Griffin versus County School Board of Prince Edward, that the schools were forced to reopen. Alongside these political tactics came raw physical violence. When 9 Black students, the Little Rock Nine, tried to integrate high school, Central High School in Arkansas in 1957, they were met by a screaming mob and blocked by the National Guard. President Eisenhower had to send in federal troops to escort them to class. In 1960, 6-year-old Ruby Bridges had to be escorted by federal marshals every day just to attend first grade in New Orleans. In 1966, a white mob armed with chains and pipes attacked Black children on their way to school in Grenada, Mississippi, hospitalizing several. Massive resistance eventually failed as an official state policy, but its legacy was profound. It delayed meaningful integration for more than a decade, poisoned race relations, and entrenched a new system of private school segregation. It proved that even a unanimous Supreme Court decision wasn't enough to break a society committed to racial hierarchy. The battle for a degree was now a physical and psychological war against a deeply ingrained system of hate. The lingering legacy. The lingering legacy. Modern day iniquities. The era of legal segregation The era of legal segregation may seem like distant history, but its legacy didn't end when the schools in Prince Edward County reopened. The systematic barriers designed to block Black Americans from getting degrees haven't disappeared. They've just evolved, becoming more covert, and complex. The shadows of slavery, Jim Crow, and racist housing policies stretch long into the 21st century, continuing to shape educational opportunities today. One of the most powerful legacies is the enduring segregation of our schools. While Brown versus Board outlawed segregation by law, it couldn't erase segregation in fact. Today's schools are more segregated than they have been in decades, not because of laws separating students by race, but because of how segregated our neighborhoods are. This neighborhood segregation is the direct result of decades of discriminatory housing policies, most notoriously redlining. In the mid 20th century, the federal government created color coded maps of cities, marking neighborhoods with significant Black populations in red and labeling them hazardous for mortgage lending. This state sponsored policy made it nearly impossible for Black families to get loans to buy homes in white areas, locking them into undersourced neighborhoods while the government subsidized white flight to the suburbs. The link between this history and modern school inequality is direct because public school funding in the US relies so heavily on local property taxes. The legacy of redlining has created a system of permanent structural inequality. Studies show that school districts in these historically redlined neighborhoods today have significantly less money per student, larger shares of non-white students, and lower average test scores. In essence, the racist housing policies of the 20th century drew the blueprint for the unequal schools districts in the 21st century. The funding gaps that were explicitly racial under Jim Crow now persist under a system of geographic apartheid. Beyond funding, the legacy of racism continues to impact the classroom experience. Black students, especially Black boys, are often subjected to lower expectations, harsher discipline, and are disproportionately pushed into the school to prison pipeline. They face the psychological burden of negative stereotypes and negating institutions that were not built for them. The cumulative effect of these centuries of exclusion is starkly visible in the persistent achievements and wealth gaps. The denial of the denial of quality education for generations prevented the accumulation of family wealth that is so often used to fund a child's education and opportunities. The fight that began with an enslaved person secretly learning to read in a pit school continues today. The battlefield has just changed. Now the fight is in the school board meetings over funding formulas, in courtrooms challenging discriminatory zoning laws, and in classrooms demanding culturally relevant curricula and an end to explicit bias. Understanding this long, unbroken line of systemic racism isn't about assigning blame for the past. It's about recognizing the truth of the present and understanding that the disparities we see in education are not the result of individual failings, but the predictable outcome of a system designed from its very inception to block Black Americans from reaching their full potential. This history isn't just in the past, it lives in the inequalities of our present. The first step to dismantling these systems is understanding them. So I encourage you to keep learning. Read the work of the historians and researchers who have dedicated their lives to uncovering this truth. If you feel moved to act, consider supporting organizations on the front lines of the modern fight for educational equality. Groups like the NAACP, Legal Defense and Educational Fund, which carries on Thurgood Marshall's legacy, and local organizations in your community are doing the critical work to ensure every child has access to a quality education. Most importantly, let's talk about this. Share what you learned. Jump into the conversation in the comments below. What part of this history shocked you the most? How did you see these legacies playing out in your own community? Acknowledging our shared history is the only way we can build a more just future. Conclusion. The journey from the anti-literacy laws of the 18th century to the underfunding schools of the 21st century is a long and painful one. It's a story of a system that adapted, constantly erecting new barriers to replace the ones that were torn down. First, it was the whip and the branding iron for anyone who dared to read. Then it was the legal fiction of separate but equal. When that failed, it was the organized fury of massive resistance. And today, it's the quiet legacy of segregated neighborhoods and unequal funding that continues to cycle. At every single turn for centuries, the path to a degree for Black Americans have been deliberately blocked. But this is not just a story of oppression. It is and always have been a story of indomitable resilience. It's the story of enslaved people risking their lives for a page of a spelling book in the dead of night. Dead of night. It's the story of communities newly freed from bondage, pooling their meager resources to build schools before they even had homes for themselves. It's the story of legal geniuses like Charles Hamilton Houston and Thurgood Marshall, who brilliantly dismantled an unjust system. It's the story of the brave children who walked through mobs of screaming adults to claim their rightful place in the classroom. And it's the story of millions of Black students and educators today who, despite facing the lingering effects of this history, continue to strive, to achieve, and to demand the educational justice they have always been denied. The pursuit of education has always been a revolutionary act for Black Americans, a foundation of a fundamental part of the long struggle for freedom. Acknowledging the depth of the injustice they have faced is in the first step toward finally clearing the path. All right, all right, all right, all right. Let me take it back to the top. Let's take it back to the trap. Now I'm back in the trap, make my pockets jump. Hey, look, man, let me say this. I know, you know what I'm saying, a lot of people don't like the readership, but that was some information, you know what I'm saying, I had to get out of there. I'm gonna start doing these little lessons at least once a week because I got a stack. I got a stack of information that I feel like our people definitely need to hear. I think tomorrow I'm gonna get on Francis Chris Wilson. So we got a Francis Chris Wilson show, a Dr. Ben show, Dr. John Henry Clark show. We got a W.E.B. Du Bois show coming up. Yeah, man, I'm gonna be, you know, I'm digging in the crates. I'm digging in the goddamn crates. I don't want to hear about no peer review. I don't want to hear about no goddamn, oh, he didn't have a degree. We see what our goddamn people then went through. This shit go all the way up to the 1950s and 60s. God damn it. So I don't want to hear, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to hear the coon talk. I don't want to hear the house nigga talk. We don't got time for no house nigga talk. We have no time for no house nigga talk. If you gonna bring a book, it better be written by a Black man. If you go bring a source, that source better be a Black website. That source better have Black editors. That source better have Black everything. Cause we not trusting what the what they talking about. We not trusting that. We don't. Why would we want our? We looking at the world from an African lens, why would we want you to peer review our shit? Who is you to peer review my history? You don't know shit. You can't read the metaneta. You don't know no Bantu languages. So stay your ass goddamn me in Tennessee. You don't know shit about what we got going on over here. So why the fuck is peer review even a final say so? No, we do our own goddamn thing, and they do their own goddamn thing. Now, we clearly just went over. We clearly just went over how racism stopped our ancestors from getting degrees or even education. We clearly went through that. We clearly went through how we growing up in these impoverished neighborhoods for a reason. They funding the white schools more, redlining, Jim Crow. I don't want to hear nothing about uh, uh, a white source, a European source. I'm good on any European source that you try to bring me. I don't believe them. I don't believe them. I don't believe them. They got white knowledge and they got right knowledge. You know what I'm saying? We gonna ride with our shit. If you black, you are an Afrocentrist, and you goddamn well better fight to be. Because we don't want to look at history or anything else through other lens than our own goddamn lens. We need our goddamn lens. Only. Only. We didn't, it's enough traits. It's enough traits of fuck shit for us to be like, yeah, we not even we ain't even we on different timing. You know what I'm saying? You know, you got that one homie that he always be too riled up. You got that one homie, he always be he crashing. You got that one homie that won't listen to nobody in the game. Do you have that one homie that won't listen to nobody in the game? You know what I'm saying? So you just let them do what they do. You know what I'm saying? You step back a little bit from them and you let them do their goddamn thing. But in no way, shape, or form is we gonna concede to what they got going on or even place anything that they got going on as a say so in what we doing. You know what I'm saying? Like we on something totally different. Like I like how let me drop this link real quick. I like how this separate but equal. How is this separate but equal? And for every dollar a white kid make, a black kid for every dollar that they put towards a white kid education, it's only 14 cents towards a black kid education. So there was never equality, gang. There was never equality. We gotta recognize that, and we also gotta recognize where we at. Also, we also gotta recognize where we at. So if you catch a brother um talking slick or talking crazy about uh our people all the time, you know what I'm saying? They don't know no history. They don't know no history. You know what I'm saying? So in a place like America, you gotta have money. You know what I'm saying? In a place like America, you gotta have some goddamn bread. So if we in redline, if we ain't learning, they ain't teaching us how to it's illegal for us to read, and we have to sneak and steal pages out of books and go read them at nighttime to read, then it was never equal. It was never equal. So when I catch a nigga super smart and shit, man, you was a perfect slave. You were a perfect slave. Cause you had them damn white people that they knew, you know what I'm saying, man, these niggas smart, man. They don't get these niggas book, man. These niggas gonna be too goddamn smart. And then you had them damn white people that say, nah, everybody should be equal. Let them learn. Cause they learn in our system. Let them learn. Let them learn. Because they learn in our system. They not about to, you know what I'm saying? This goddamn education criteria and all of this stuff. You're not learning about Africa. You're not learning about the Mandinka tribe. You're not about to go to school and learn about goddamn black slave revolts. You about to go learn their system. You about to go learn American history. We had a fight with Mexico. Texas used to be Mexico, Santa Ana, all that and bananas, and now it's Texas, and all of this goddamn me, all of this going on. So in reality, and I got an interview coming up. I had interviewed Gullah last night. So I got a Gullah interview. I'll probably drop that tomorrow. I ain't for sure. I got the Gullah interview. I'll probably drop that tomorrow. So yeah, man, we don't want to hear nothing about complaining that elders ain't got no degree or complaining that niggas ain't got no degree. Look, bruh, if it was illegal, this with the nigga word, me and Gullah was talking about this last night. Our people is amazing. Our people is amazing. We'll take something and make it a loving term. We'll take a hateful word. We'll take a hateful saying and make it a loving term. We'll take a hateful saying and make it a loving word. So me and Gullah was talking about black, and Gullah was like, in Colombia, the word for black and to describe a black person. And it was derogatory at first. It started off as derogatory, and now it's a term of endearment. The same way I make the argument with nigga, they got that same shit going on in Colombia. So the same way they used to call us nigga, now we use that as a term of brotherhood, a term of endearment. It's the same thing going on in Colombia, but not just that. If you gonna withhold education from our ancestors for over 200 years, make it illegal to read, make it illegal to write, and all of this shit, don't give them. We got the hand-me-down textbooks. Don't give them a pen and a paper. Just sit them at the back of the class. They gonna catch on. For my ancestors going through all that, fuck your college degree. I'm not looking at a college degree. I'm not looking at a nigga having a degree like a nigga is Superman. No, you was a good nigga. You was a good. See, the good slaves, they wanted to do everything the white man wanted to do. They wanted to do everything the white man was doing. And I have no problem with that until you make it like, I got a degree, nigga. It's us, nigga. Don't ever flex. Don't ever flex your goddamn degree when you talking to hood niggas. Hood niggas don't give a fuck about your goddamn degree. We don't give a brother, you is a house nigga. Never did no time. You a house nigga. So we in the field, like we don't even interact with y'all for real. We call y'all snitches. We call y'all rats. We call y'all all this stuff from the field. The minute you try to come into the field, you know what I'm saying? You got to take your science coat off. You got to throw away your PhD. You got to throw away your doctorate degree because that don't got shit to do in the streets. A PhD degree ain't gonna stop your ass from getting robbed. A PhD degree, a doctorate or anything ain't gonna stop your ass from getting pulled over by the laws and them thinking you look like Kunta Kinte and they put one in the back of your goddamn head. We gotta be realistic. Before education, before all of this other shit, we was human beings. Before redlining, before Jim Crow, before HBCUs, we already had our own shit going on. We didn't, it was never in our wildest dreams in Africa to say, yeah, well, while we on the ship and while we headed to America, shit, we want to be as smart as them. And we want to have that type of education. Nigga, that wasn't on our mind. We like, man, these damn savages, these damn carnivores, These damn cannibals, is savage Vikings. These damn Vikings, barbarians, goddamn Vikings. The hell these damn evil Vikings. That's what our people wouldn't know no goddamn. Well, I want to be just like the white man. Well, I can't wait to get to America. We wasn't on the boat like that. We ain't give a damn about no motherfucking PhD, doctor, goddamn bachelor's of social. Fuck all that. We still to this day. Now, if you got it and you putting it to use and you humble, we respect it. You put the work in. You put the motherfucking work in, you proving them crackers wrong. But if you get a motherfucking degree just to tell black people that you got a degree and black people ain't smart and black people ain't shit, you is a house nigga. Like you literally, you went from the field to the kitchen. You is a house nigga. You is that. We call you that. Understand the barriers. We gotta understand the barriers that our people went through just to get them up, just to be able to read, just to get a motherfucking degree. We gotta understand what I think we couldn't get a degree until 1940 or something like that. And as we see in the South, goddamn, we go away to 1960. So we not trying to, gang, we understanding, you know what I'm saying? We too understanding to be playing no goddamn games. You know what I'm saying? And the understanding is the same way we took that nigga term, the same way we took that nigga term and made it a term of endearment. Y'all don't want us in y'all schools. Y'all don't want us learning y'all education. Fuck y'all schools. Fuck y'all education. The hell is we doing? Nigga, we ain't trying to fit in. We is not trying. Hey, look, I don't want all white neighbors. I don't want all white neighbors, gang. That shit is sketchy to me. You niggas what is y'all gonna try to do to me? I don't want no goddamn all white neighbors. Give me everybody. I'm cool with me the essays and the blacks. I'm cool with Stan. I'm cool. I could just, I ain't no uppity type of nigga. I ain't no nigga that's gonna move away from the hood and be too far away. No, nigga, I'm still stopping in, nigga. I'm still tapping in, nigga. We charged up. Goddamn it. But yeah, man, like I was saying, it's for the people that try to weaponize, you know what I'm saying, education and all of that stuff like that. We have no time here for it. You know what I'm saying? We got our own situation going on, and we're gonna hold down what we got going on over here. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're gonna ban us from learning, ban us from reading, eventually I know some of my ancestors was like, man, fuck y'all books. Fuck y'all criteria. Fuck y'all electives and language arts. Fuck all that. Fuck all that. Now we ain't saying, oh Wavy, you promoting ignorance. You promoting people being ignorant. No, gang. What we saying is if you got a degree, if you went to college to get a degree, if you go to college, you should go to college to get a degree. What I'm speaking on is a peer review. I got a degree. You niggas ain't got a degree. Dr. Ben got an honorary degree. Niggas getting walk-on degrees. That's what I'm speaking on. Who give a fuck if Dr. Ben got an honorary degree? That mean nigga he deserved it. Them crackers knew damn well at that time they wouldn't let niggas graduate from college. So let's stop the cap. Let's stop the cap. Graduating from college was not universal in the United States when Dr. Ben was coming up. Let's stop the cap. I just read it. Rewind the show. Rewind the show if you think I'm lying. Let's stop all this. Let's stop all this capatory, compository. Let's stop this. Stop the cap. Let's stop all of that. You know what I'm saying? Cause we ain't conceding to your disingenuous grounds. We are not standing on your disingenuous grounds. In fact, we would change the conversation on your ass as soon as you blink. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that was really the whole reason for me dropping that damn. God damn. Hey, hey, free my nigga Marcel, free my nigga Poop, free my nigga Cornbread, free all the real niggas. You know what I'm saying? And that's the same thing with what's going on right now. Free Uncle Indigenous Black Man. Free Uncle Indigenous Black Man. You know what I'm saying? Y'all send him a care package. You know what I'm saying? Send him some stamps so he can write home. You know what I'm saying? Free Uncle Indigenous Black Man. They say he at Angola or he at Gurney Unit or something like that. Yeah, free Uncle Indigenous Black Man, free the guys, free Cornbread, free Pooh, free Marcel, you know what I'm saying? Free all the real niggas, free all my dogs. So it's always gonna be free Uncle Indigenous Black Man. You know what I'm saying? Them cell phones in jail like $1,200. So that's why niggas ain't got phones in jail because a damn flip phone $800, iPhone $1,200. You know what I'm saying? A Kia Sarah touchscreen Android phone $1,100. You know what I'm saying? So Uncle Indigenous Black Man, you renting out that cell phone, you already know we respect it. And hey, it ain't no better place to spend your time than goddamn we with PBO. On top of Pop Bills only. Yeah, free Uncle Indigenous Black Man. He said I'm doing a great job using his teaching point. I gotta subscribe to your channel to catch your goddamn teaching points. So let me go and subscribe to Uncle Indigenous channel to catch his teaching points. I assume Uncle Indigenous Black Man be going live in his cell like my boy Baby Braves. You know what I'm saying? I assume Uncle Indigenous Black Man be going live in his cell like Baby B Braves. But yeah, click the link, hop up here, like, share, and subscribe to the show. Tell me what y'all learned. Tell me how y'all feel about this whole conversation. I'm about to drop the link one more time. Indigenous Black Man say, nah, nigga, I'm on Alcatraz, nigga. I'm goddamn me. I'm over there, nigga. I'm with those type. All right, let me see. Yo, you got a spot. Yeah, man. But I feel like, you know what I'm saying, it definitely needed to be a understanding, because if they trying to stop us from reading, if they trying to stop us from writing, this is less than what we at 2025. This is less than 65 years ago, gang. Less than 65 years ago, we couldn't even read and write, and we wanna act all uppity with the information. You is a new booty. You is a new booty. So we gotta cut all that out, man. We definitely gotta cut all that out. You know what I'm saying? We definitely gotta stay focused. And definitely gotta stay focused and keep putting out this information and keep ourselves together. You know what I'm saying? Let me see. What else I got? What else I got in my bag? Let me see what else I got in my bag. Matter of fact, I'm gonna give y'all. This is what I'm gonna do. We about to do a world premiere. So appreciate the people for tuning in. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate y'all for tuning in. We about to do world premiere. So it's some stuff you said you was gonna critique my last presentation on JJ and I did on Sunday Studio a month ago. Alright, yeah. I gotta send me the I'm gonna go find it. I got you, Uncle in Disney. I'm gonna go find it for you. I got you. Alright. So I'm about to do a world premiere real quick. My boy Gutter about to do a world premiere. Gotta give it to the people. We're gonna get this to the people. It's on the flow. This shit on the flow. We breathing. We is breathing. Alright, so let's see where we at. Let's see. About to do a world premiere game. Let me see. Oh yeah. Let me see. Man, oh, let me see. Oh yeah. Let me see. Man, oh. I thought that little nigga. Little nigga. Oh, that nigga in a seat. What the fuck? I can hear you. Alright, let's get to this interview with my boy Gulla. Gulla. When we talk about reparations, how you feel about reparations 2025? Woo! Goddamn, yeah, that's a hot one right there. Let's bring it on the skillet. Bring it to the skillet. Alright, my boy Gulla, scatter. My boy Big Gulla. He about to this how Gulla feel about reparations. This how Angry Blood feel about reparations. Alright, let me share my screen. Hold up. How much she wanna fuck on my letter? Y'all don't stop my bitch. I ain't gonna wait no hope. Yeah, watch my blick. You want the asses to smoke? You be sliding on shit. Alright, let me know if y'all can see that. Y'all can see that? Let me know if y'all can see that. Hold up. Pop my shit. You wanna fuck on my letter? Y'all don't stop my bitch. I ain't gonna play no hope. You know, watch my blick. Oh, y'all can't see it? Alright, let me share my screen again. Alright, let me share my screen again. Hold up, gang. I'm live. I'm gonna have to hit you back. I'm live. I'm gonna have to hit you back. Alright, let me share my screen. Alright, y'all see that? Let me know if y'all see that. Y'all see that? Hell no, y'all don't see that. Alright, so I gotta let me upload this video real quick. Let me upload this video. Don't you see no one like me for you? Damn. Alright, let me try to do it like this. Screen. Oh yeah. Do it work though? Let me see. Y'all see that? Nah. Alright, let me try to do it one more time. Cause I ain't gonna cap. I don't wanna upload this video right here. But I might have to in order for us to get this Gulla Hey, and by the way, when Gullah was on the way over here last night, when Angry Blood was on the way over here last night, guess who I called? When Angry Blood was over here last night, guess who I called? I called no other than Silky D. You know what Silky D told me? Silky D was scared to see Gullah in person. So I'm on the phone. I'm on the phone with Silk, like, man, bruh, what he do to you? You know what I'm saying? Like, whatever he did to you, we gonna try to make it right. Um, man, my head is in my head. When we talk about reparations, how you feel about reparations 2025? Silky D, Silky D was scared to pull up and get that smoke from Gullah last night. That is a fact. Damn, this shit gonna take. How long is it gonna take? All right, so it's uploaded. The video is uploading. We're gonna get to it. Um, while the video is uploading, Gullah was on the way. I try to set up the one-on-one fade. Silky D was scared to take the fade. I'm like, Silky D, like, man, I just got off. I'm tired. I just got off of work. I got a snow bunny waiting. I'm like, Silky, you be on here talking spicy, gang. When somebody want that fade, you be on here talking spicy, gang. When somebody want that fade, it's an issue. So come on, President. Come on, President. We got to do better than that. Come on, President. We got to do better than that, President. All right. So the video should be done downloading. Let me go back to the video. We're about to break the internet. All right, it's almost done. 67%. We're at 67%. We're gonna get it right. Once this video upload, we're gonna go and start popping. See how my boy Angry Blood feel about 8%. Okay, moving a little fast. A little quantum speed area. Oh look, oh look, oh look. 90%. Okay. We almost there. We almost there. Hold up, gang. Angry Blood is on the way. But yeah, man. So when Angry Blood was on the way, I hit up Silky. Silky couldn't come through. You know what I'm saying? Silky was on some other shit. He was basically scared of the fade. President Silky was scared of the fade. You know what I'm saying? Against Gullah. Like, man, I just got off work. Man, I just did all of this and this and this. I've been on this and that. Damn, this motherfucker got a progress now. Damn. Yeah, I'm gonna try to set that. I'm gonna have to set that up again. Maybe it was last minute. Cause like I said, I called him when Gullah was on the way. You know what I'm saying? So maybe it was last minute. But Silky D definitely said, I'm tired and I can't be going back and forth with no nigga like Gullah. That's Angry Blood. No angry blood gonna get angry and try to do something to me. So yeah, Silky wasn't ready for the head of fade. Um, I might have to call in my Muslim brother Jesse. I might have to call in my Muslim brother Jesse for Gullah. Because Silky, man, he ran from the fade. He ran from it, man. He didn't want no parts. You know what I'm saying? All right, let's see if this video. Did you see no one like me? Hold up. 80%. Hold up. All right, here we go. Let's eat.
When we talk about reparations, how you feel about reparations 2025? Reparations, how you feel about reparations 2025?
How you feel about reparations 2025?
By this time, I think reparations
I think shit. By this time, I think reparations is a hoax, man.
Anybody getting no
Get
damn
fired
money.
up,
They barely gave us
Anybody getting no.
All right. So let me know. Do y'all agree with Big Gullah? Do y'all agree with my boy Gullah? This was last night. You know what I'm saying? I had Gullah pull up on me. I tried to get a quick on the couch session with him and Silky. Silky was scared. Silky was like, that's angry blood. Why would I sit down with angry blood so I can get choked out? That's basically what my boy Silky was saying. Gullah is saying reparations is a hoax at this point. That's what, let me run it back.
When we talk about reparations, how you feel about reparations 2025?
Man, I think shit. By this time, I think reparations is a hoax, man. Let's get people fired up, bro. Ain't nobody getting no damn money. They barely gave us the motherfucking stimulus check, man. So, you know what I'm saying, with this motherfucking COVID shit that passed by. Right. So, man, I think this is this false hope, man. If we get it, we get it. We don't, man. Get the money in the hustle. You know what I'm saying? Get into this, you know what I'm saying, market with, you know what I'm saying, what the white people doing, these stocks and shit. Get into that shit. You know what I'm saying? Play the game, gotta play chess. Getting people sitting around waiting around for reparations. You know what I'm saying? You gotta play chess and shit. I ain't saying don't fight for it and shit. But I think this is a divide too, man, because it's like we were saying earlier, man.
Alright, so before y'all try to beat up Angry Blood, yes, the first thing came out his mouth sounded crazy. Yes, he said, to me, reparations is like a hoax. And now and we 47 seconds in, he's saying, I'm not saying don't fight for it. So before y'all try to go at Angry Blood, before y'all try to disrespect Angry Blood, understand what Angry Blood is saying. Angry Blood is not saying, I think reparations fake. We shouldn't fight for it. That shit is the finish line is never. So nah, that ain't what Angry Blood is saying. Angry Blood said, I think reparations is a hoax. We've been fighting for so long. They don't want to give us no stimulus check. They barely want to give us a stimulus check. And I'm not saying don't fight for it. Let's keep going. Let's see what Angry Blood is saying.
Waiting around for reparations. You know what I'm saying? Gotta play chess and shit. I ain't saying don't fight for it and shit. But I think it's a divide too, man. Because it's like we were saying earlier, man. That FBA bullshit and all that bullshit. I hate the fucking word foundation. That's the disconnect. These niggas don't want to be connected with other Africans and shit. Because black is a worldwide, you know what I'm saying, thing, especially with Niger Congo people, our people that was spread around the world. Yeah, like you said, even we had the conversation earlier. Them early African Americans, you know what I'm saying? A lot of us came from, our ancestors came from the Caribbean and shit. Cause like I said, the British couldn't move forward. You know what I'm saying? Just get motherfucking Africa straight from Africa when it first kicked off. So a lot of the Africans came from the Caribbean and shit before it even came to, you know what I'm saying, the colonies anyway.
But
Y'all heard it. Y'all heard it. Y'all heard it right there. It's my boy Big Gullah, Angry Bloody. Angry Bloody. Gullah says, I think reparations is a hoax. They barely want to give us stimulus checks. But I'm not in the line of we don't deserve it or nothing like that. We should fight for it. We definitely deserve it. he says that we had a conversation once I dropped the full video, probably this weekend. We had a conversation and he said that a lot of our ancestors come from the islands, you know what I'm saying, and then come to America because the British, which was in America, they didn't have the funds, they didn't have the money or the connections to get slaves straight from Africa. So they were getting their slaves from these islands, which were brought to these islands by other foreign leaders from Africa. So the British was middlemaning. They found a middleman in the slave trade until they can actually go to Africa. So the conversation is very important. The conversation is very thought provoking. We definitely gotta when I drop that interview, man, it's gonna, you know what I'm saying, my boy Gullah did his thing. And it was only for about the interview probably about 30 minutes, but you definitely gonna feel what he's saying. All right, I'm about to roll up a doobie. So while I roll up this doobie, let's see, can we get some tunes? And I dropped a link. So if any of the gang want to come up in here, or if a stranger want to come up here and pop his shit, it's good, gang. It is good. Let me roll this doobie.
It ain't my fault, I got it off. Trap out the low, package dropped off. Gas make you cough, straight out the soul. Grill in my mouth, yeah. It ain't my fault. Cameras active, watching over my house. End up in the cloud, trying to chase you some clout. Designer stepping, you can tell how I walk. Don't know no better, yeah. It ain't my fault, I got it off. Trapped out the low, package dropped off. Gas make you cough, straight out the south. Grill in my mouth, yeah, no, it ain't my fault. Cameras active, watching over my house. End up in the cloud, trying to chase you some clout. Designer stepping, you can tell how I walk. Don't know no better, yeah. Cancel myself, these niggas some faggots. Chains in the rings, hitting with bag. I don't wanna know more, look goofy, I had it. Say they can't see me, go get them a tablet. What in the hell? Who told you go start painting your nails? Way God dangerous with scales. Bit off a piece, I feel well. Say that you need me, I'm near. Do not be greedy, be fair. That's my dog, that's my jack. Say slime, say slack. Way God, boy, you got cushion, that sack. On the paper chase, don't ask where I'm at. Got 2 for 15, got 2 for 25. Tryna get up in the mix, better watch it online. She just had something fruit booty emoji. Tryna interrupt this doobie on road. It ain't my fault, I got it off. Trap out the low, package dropped off. Gas make you cough, straight out the salt. Grill in my mouth, yeah. It ain't my fault. Cameras active, watching over my house. End up in the clouds, trying to chase you some clout. Designer stepping, you can tell how I walk. Don't know no better, yeah. It ain't my fault, I got it off. Trapped out the low, package dropped off. Gas make you cough, straight out the south. Grill in my mouth, yeah, no, it ain't my fault. Cameras active, watching over my house. End up in the clouds, trying to chase you some clout. Designer stepping, you can tell how I walk. Don't know no better, yeah. Gotta shoot at 6, bad little bit, way God don't miss. I ain't a misnomer, got cushion the coma. She backed that ass on me and gave me a boner. Know it's gas smell like woo when you light it. Conversation about money, same time, right phone jumping like a trampoline. See me watch like damn I mean. Got the shit on, just make sure your camera's clean. Finding out somebody hating, can't move different. What's in my pocket, them blue bitches. Urban Dale, that be who move with me. It's an old school with a new engine. She got designer heels, talented, tryna find his niche. I'm on the signing list, new slap, we gon' drive the 5th wheel. This what we take off from here. Bodies don't work, they off for real. Way guard, what it costs for real. Stay away from my house for real. It ain't my fault, I got it off. Trap out the low, package dropped off. Gas make you cough, straight out the salt. Grill in my mouth, yeah. It ain't my fault. Cameras active, watching over my house. End up in the cloud, trying to chase you some clout. Designer stepping, you can tell how I walk. Don't know no better, yeah. It ain't my fault, I got it off. Trapped out the low, package dropped off. Gas make you cough, straight out the salt. Grill in my mouth, yeah, no, it ain't my fault. Cameras active, watching over my house. End up in the cloud, trying to chase you some clout. Designer stepping, you can tell how I walk. Don't know no better, yeah.
That shoot at six. That little bit where God don't miss. I ain't a misnomer. Got cushion in the coma. She backed that ass on me and gave me a nose gas smell like woo when you light it. Conversation about money, same time, right? Phone jumping like a trampoline. See my watch like damn I mean. Yeah, man. Free all the guys, man. Free the real niggas. Free the real niggas either dead or in jail. Alright, Uncle Saul said he gonna be off in a few. Yeah, Uncle Saul, we definitely gotta go down through the Uncle Saul. Um, another thing that happened in the community that I'm gonna do a video on. Um, matter of fact, I'm a hold off because I like hitting people with surprises, so I'm gonna hold off on that video. But let me look this up real quick while we all on stream. Let me look this up, make sure I ain't tripping. Uh, I spelled gang. Okay, now check this out. Now check this out. They always like to say Dr. Ben didn't have a degree. Ah, the elders was cheating. The elders didn't have a degree. The elders the elders didn't have no peer review work. They like these house niggas, these damn coons be crying all over America. Now let's check this out. Did Flinders Petrie have a degree? Egyptology. No, Flinders Petrie did not have a formal degree in Egyptology or any other field. He was largely self-taught, receiving some early tutoring in French, Latin, and Greek, but never attended a traditional school or university. His father taught him surveying, which became a crucial skill in his archaeological work. Now, this is an archaeologist. Despite the lack of formal education, Petrie became a pioneer in Egyptology, developing innovative archaeological methods and making scientific significant contributions to the field. He was even knighted in 1923 for his services to archaeology. Now let's look at Flinders Petrie. Y'all like to quote white people, and y'all don't even know he ain't even have a degree. This cracker ain't even have a degree. Y'all always, when y'all talk about Egyptology, y'all always bring up Flinders Petrie. He ain't even have a degree. So is he academically pseudo? But y'all don't cry for Dr. Ben and Dr. John Henry Clark and Theophile Obanga. Y'all cry about Obanga and y'all cry about Dr. Ben not having only having an honorary degree. But look at your boy Matthew. Look at Sir William Matthew. Sir William Matthew didn't have no goddamn degree. But he's the what? Pioneer a pioneer. They call him, he held the first chair of Egyptology. This nigga held the first chair of Egyptology without a degree. See how that sound? So we got to stop with this. Our ancestors didn't have a degree. The ancestors need a degree. We got to cut this out, gang. No, Flinders Petrie did not have a formal degree in Egyptology or any other field. Saying this nigga ain't had shit. But he became a pioneer in Egyptology. So when we talk about our ancestors, Dr. Ben and all our and y'all want to cry because niggas ain't got formal degrees. Hey man, stop crying, bro. Stop crying, bro. Stop crying, bro. We different time period. You know what I'm saying? The you don't have that angry mob outside your house. So you gotta just keep it real with the situation. You gotta just be real, you know what I'm saying? You gotta keep this shit 100. You gotta keep that shit 100. If you don't keep that shit 100, what we doing? You know what I'm saying? That's how it go. So yeah, we about to get up out of here. Peace to everybody. About to help a friend out real quick. You know what I'm saying? About to go help a friend out. Hey man, say man, woman, child, food, clothing, shelter. Money is the root to happiness. Ain't nobody coming to save you. Cherish your family because when they gone, we don't know what's gonna happen. And treat others how you want to be treated. You know what I'm saying? So, with that being said, we out of here. We're gonna go live tonight. I need Uncle Saw to bring that meta netta to the forefront. We'll be back live tonight. Peace to everybody. Like, share, and subscribe. We out of here.